you told me when I first met you that your story is that you think income taxes are illegal, that the 13th Amendment to the Constitution was never ratified.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do like a very quick, here's the gist of everything, and let's throw it up, keep it like 20 minutes or something.
Yeah, whatever.
And so real quick, why don't you tell people a little bit about the book that your friend Irwin Schiff is holding up right there?
Irwin Schiff wrote the book Federal Mafia.
All right. Welcome, friends, once again to the New World Order broadcast. We are coming to you live from the end of the world. I am your host, the Hatman, and this is your other host, Harry the Taxman. And we were talking a little bit earlier today, and something pretty exciting happened on the internet. Can you tell everybody about what we were looking at?
Yeah, we have a local area, local site, and about 5 days ago, I put your website out there.
So this is when you say a local site, this is actually a website that's called Neighbors.
Neighbors.
Okay.
Birchwood Lake Association Neighbors.
Okay, so you were on the part of the Neighbors site where really it's just for people who live in or around
Birchwood.
the association where we are, where the bunker is. Yeah. Okay. So go ahead, tell everybody what we saw.
I put a post out there, and in 2 weeks it went from 0 to 637.
No. It wasn't 2 weeks. It was 2 days.
2 days?
48 hours.
Okay.
That's what the graph said.
It looked like a bad virus has been spread around.
I think you may have created the virus. Now, what did you put on the post? And you know what? Actually, I'm gonna bring it up on the internet here, maybe. No, actually, we can't do that because I don't have your login. That sucks. I should have.
No, I put on
that.
The thing about the income tax and my 30 years experience dealing with the courts, dealing with the IRS, dealing with the thing, and with the thing in hand. And it looks like we're starting a little revolution right in Pike County itself, like they're doing in Washington, D.C.
Right.
So therefore, we are going to start the revolution, people. Wake up!
All right. Well, hey, New World Order now. We need a New World Order. So, real quick, what we decided to do here, we have a previous video where I spoke to you. I think it was the third podcast we ever did. It's number 3. The episode is called Death and Taxes.
Yes.
And I was interviewing you because you told me when I first met you that your story is that you think income taxes are illegal, that the 13th Amendment to the Constitution was never ratified.
Yeah.
And it's really just it's just a big game that the government's been playing with us since 1913. And they are actually illegal. It's on a voluntary basis. And you took the IRS eventually, you took them to court, and eventually you got to federal court, and you won.
Yes,
you won your case. You won your case against the IRS.
I won my case on principle.
So I want to show everybody this real quick. Harry, why don't you hold this up? This is a photocopy. And I just want to make sure there's no personal information on here.
It doesn't matter. I'm in the open. Come and get me.
All right. Well, I just mean like your bank account number or anything. I don't want to show that. Okay, so what I'm holding here, and I'll let you hold it up for the camera because this is really yours. This is a check from the United States Treasury for all of the taxes that you paid for the tax year
of 1999.
1999, and that's when you beat the IRS in court. That's when you won.
That's the seed that planted the starting of the battle.
Right. So according to the statute of limitations, you couldn't get back more than 1 year's worth of taxes.
You can't get back money unless you...
because before that, they consider it a voluntary gift.
Yes, it's a voluntary system.
Okay, so let me give you this. Just hold it up for the camera. It's a check from the United States Treasury for the taxes that you paid for 1999, and it is for $6,605. Now, you say that you won in 1999.
Yes.
The check is dated for August of 2002. It took you that long to get the check?
According to law, they have 2 years to disprove what you say.
Oh.
That's the statute of limitations. If you want to sue somebody, it takes 2 years. If you don't do it in 2 years, it's gone.
So these guys just, they waited the maximum amount of time that they could wait before they issued your check.
They couldn't answer my tax statement.
That's fucking funny, dude. All right, hold it up for the camera. Hold it up. There is a check, a photocopy of a check from the United States Treasury for $6,602 from August 9th of 2002. Your back taxes for the year 1999.
Yes.
So you beat the IRS in open court, and you can put that down. And why don't you tell everybody a little bit about the two characters?
No, these are my two mentors.
Your two mentors that
One,
you brought.
On my right is Joe Bannister, former ATF agent.
Okay, and everybody, all the information that he is about to tell you is 100% accurate. Now, about the 13th Amendment shit, that's very controversial. That's up for debate. But what he's about to tell you about these two guys is 100% accurate. You can Google it yourself on your own time. Go ahead, Harry.
Joe Bannister was a former ATF agent that took the challenge to his boss about income taxes being illegal.
Okay.
And he was told when he put his report in, Joe, you are going to resign.
Which is basically saying you're fired.
Right.
Right.
So he sacrificed his job for telling the truth.
Right.
Irvin Schiff here, back in 1984, made this book.
Okay.
And
The Great Income Tax Hoax. Now, this was written by Irwin Schiff, and it also says at the bottom why you can immediately stop paying this illegally enforced tax. And his son helped him with the book, Peter Schiff, who's actually very popular today. Now, Irwin Schiff is dead, but Peter
Schiff was murdered by the government.
That's also insubstantiated. We can't prove that, but we all feel that way about certain characters, like Epstein, JFK. We're about to find out about that shit.
We'll find
We'll find out a little bit about. I mean, this administration is doing some wild shit.
This book was printed in 1984.
Ooh.
Remember the movie 1984?
Well, you know that movie came from a book, right?
Yeah, but it happened. It's here.
We're living in it.
We're living in it.
At least we were until it started to feel like everything was going that way until November, and especially January when the new administration took office. I mean, they are tearing shit apart. I mean, it's pretty wild to watch.
Government's being torn down and the fraud is being exposed.
But I kind of thought that maybe the reason why a very simple post that you made on a very local forum went from 0 views to 630 views, around 600 views in 48 hours might be because taxes are on everybody's mind right now. So I mean, not only because we're nearing tax season, we're about to be in March, but also because with everything that the Trump administration is doing to try to change the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, to the ERS, the External Revenue Service, where Trump is trying to get so much money from levying tariffs against other countries' imports to us, that it might be able to make up for the revenue that's brought in from income taxes, from personal wages. This does not include corporate taxes or anything like that. Now, I've watched a lot of videos where people just do the very simple math, and they say there is absolutely no way because the federal government takes in around $4.5 trillion, trillion with a T, trillion dollars per year from the apparently fraudulent income taxes, and there's no way that tariffs would make up for that amount. So the rest of the money has to come from somewhere. But then, of course, Doge is trying to cut out fraud and useless spending, frivolous government spending, so it may be able to make up for at least a large portion of the gap. Now, I have to say, I'm not smart enough to do the math myself, and I'm sure there's a lot of variables that go into this when you look into it, but I do think that that's another reason why perhaps your post, I mean, for a local site, for a neighborhood page, your post is pretty much going viral. I mean, for a neighborhood to have 600 views and interactions in 48 hours means there's a large percentage of that local page is paying attention to your post. So I think that's another reason why not only is it tax season, but that everything that the current administration is doing might have this sort of might have this topic on people's minds. Yeah. I think people are primed for it.
Well, here's a little history. Up to 1913, this country ran on tariffs.
Right.
After 1913, we were tricked into paying so-called income tax at 1%.
Right.
Since 1913, the government's been lying to you, plain and simple. And it has never been ratified. I have a book also by another Internal Revenue agent from the Revenue Department of Illinois that he was a revenue agent for Illinois.
Okay.
Bill Benson was his name. He actually took the vote from Congress. Only 2 states voted for it. All the rest succeeded, didn't vote for it. So it was not properly ratified.
So what was? Oh, you're still talking about the 13th Amendment?
Yes,
was never ratified.
Yes.
Okay, I gotcha.
And the thing is, we were $1 million in debt back in 1913. By the time we hit 1914, we were $4 million in debt.
Right.
And then they put us in debt with World War I.
Mm-hmm.
And then since then, we're now $400 trillion in debt.
Mm-hmm.
It's a conspiracy, baby.
Okay.
As simple as that.
So what we wanted to do here, since your post is blowing up, and this is a subject that's on people's minds, the episode that we did previously, like a year and a half ago or so, New World Order Now number 3,
Yes.
Death and Taxes, it's a 2-hour podcast, because I like having conversations with people that last about 2 hours or so. I think that's a healthy, long-form conversation, but realizing that people who might see your post and go on YouTube and find that podcast, 2 hours might be a little inaccessible for some people. So I wanted to do like a very quick, here's the gist of everything, and let's throw it up, keep it like 20 minutes or something.
Yeah, whatever.
And so real quick, why don't you tell people a little bit about the book that your friend Irwin Schiff is holding up right there.
Irwin Schiff wrote the book Federal Mafia.
All right.
And he did a zero return.
And this is the same method that you used to do your return.
Part of it.
As part of the method that you used to do your return for 99 and then also beat the IRS in open federal court.
Well, I enhanced the Federal Mafia and the zero return by my tax statement.
Right.
Which took me 5 years to create.
So let me say this, 5 years to create, it's well over 200 pages.
Yes.
And I still have a link up in the description for every single one of our podcasts where people can find and download the entirety of the tax statement that you give to the IRS every year when you do your zero return. So if people get the book, The Federal Mafia, which is a little expensive right now because it's out of print, but you can still get it, and it's not terrible. It's like $60 or $80 when I was looking at it. So if people go and get that book and figure out how to do a zero return, and then they come back to the link in the description and they download your tax statement, they can basically do pretty easily exactly the same thing that you did that made you able to win in 1999, and since 1999, you have never paid income taxes. Is that correct?
I haven't paid income tax since 1999.
There you go.
And it's 25 years, and I'm here.
There you go. So, I mean, that is
that proof?
That's everything I think that people need to know. Hey, listen, it was a hard-won battle, but people, at least if you have the information. I know everybody's scared because of shit like Wesley Snipes and everything, but listen, man, Wesley Snipes, if he doesn't have an LLC or something with all the money he makes, he's an idiot. And if you have an LLC, you're going to pay taxes as a corporate entity, and if you try not to, you're going to get hit over the head with tax evasion. So, I mean, this method that you use, this is for W-2 employees if they are paying income taxes. That's all it's for. It's not for corporate entities. It's not for LLCs. Nothing like that. So
but Wesley Snipes made a mistake. He hired a lawyer.
I know you hate lawyers.
Oh, yes, because they're all members of the bar, British Accredited Regency, a.k.a. Lawyers Guild of Great Britain.
Now, I have looked into this on Google, and I got mixed reports as to what bar stands for. So this is another thing that's controversial. That's a conspiracy theory. You could be right. You could be wrong. I tried looking into it myself, and I can't substantiate it. However, what we can substantiate is that Irving Schiff fought this battle for his entire life. His son, Peter Schiff, who's very popular nowadays, actually appeared on one of the episodes of the Joe Rogan podcast. And he helped him with the book, The Great Income Tax Hoax. So these guys, the Schiffs, seem to know something about this. Peter Schiff now pays zero income taxes because he has his primary residence in Puerto Rico, which is how, according to you, the federal government gets around the fact that it's illegal because they are treating Puerto Rico as a territory and they're considering you're paying taxes to Puerto Rico or something weird like that. Yeah, you explained it to me once, but I mean...
1933, down in Puerto Rico, the IRS is not but an audit firm to a treaty that they had from 1904.
Right.
So if you're not a corporate citizen of Washington, D.C., or a member of the territories, you're not responsible to pay income tax.
Right.
You have a way out. But
So there's some weird legal loophole where in which they use Puerto Rico and another province, a territory, where that's how. And another way that they get around the fact that it's illegal is that, and this is something important too, and this you can look up, and I've substantiated this. When you get your birth certificate, every American citizen has a straw man corporation set up on their behalf through the birth certificate and the Social Security Administration. So when you get a birth certificate, a straw man, almost like a corporation, is set up on your behalf under your name. And that's why any legal or banking document that you get has your name spelled all in caps, because the straw man of you is identified with you by the same spelling of your birth name, and your social security number ties it in, because some people have the same names. But anytime that you get a paper where your name is spelled completely in capital letters, they are not addressing you as a sovereign citizen of the United States. They are addressing you as the straw man corporate entity that was set up on your behalf through the birth certificate process.
Corporate stock. Your parents sold you into slavery when they get your birth certificate,
and they didn't know. They
were
know.
Stupid,
right?
Plain and simple. They didn't know. Now, if you try to break your way away from that corporate entity to the real live person, now that's a different battle.
And that's part of the reason why anytime you go into court, they operate under maritime law
Yes.
because they are addressing the corporate entity that was
Not
created
the
on your
person.
behalf, not the person, not
Right.
the sovereign citizen. So this is something that people can look into. But I want to keep this video very brief.
Right.
If you want more information on any of this, and I'll put the link in the description, New World Order Now, episode number 3, Death and Taxes. We were just getting our system set up, so towards the end of the video, the audio starts getting a little fucked up, and I do apologize for that if you make it to the end. But I'm going to have a link in the description for your tax statement. The book by Irving Schiff that has the zero return once again. Irving Schiff, The Federal Mafia, How the Government Illegally Imposes and Unlawfully Collects Income Taxes. You can get that book and study the zero return. Just look it up. I found copies for $60 or $80, and that's all the information that you need. Go check out the previous episode. Also, I'm going to have a link in the description for the puppets of Joe Bannister and Irving Schiff.
Joe Bannister is the www.agentforfreedom.com.
Well, you can look him up on Google, and Irving Schiff, unfortunately, has passed away.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, if you're interested in the person who made the puppets, I'll have a link up in the description for that as well. We had an argument recently, and, I knocked it off of Etsy, but we'll probably put up again soon. The Great White Huntress pissed me off a little bit the other day. It happens. Yeah.
But, like I said, to the people of Pike County, you're about to wake up to the real truth.
All right.
I mean, there are some people in Pike County that personally know me. All of Milford, Pennsylvania knows me very well because I have just done with a court battle with them, and I'm about to take somebody to federal court.
I know that going to court for you is pretty much a pastime.
I'm the point man you got on the front facing the enemy.
The tip of the spear.
The tip of the spear. Irving Schiff was the point man to show you about income tax.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Bannister picked it up.
Right.
There were other people that have picked it up. I got their websites too, and them. You know what? Anybody could contact me, and if anybody in Pike County recognizes me, you know who I am, you know where I am, and you know what I stand for.
There you go. I don't think you look very unafraid to me.
No, the thing is, if you don't stand for something, you stand for nothing.
There you go. People who don't stand up stand for nothing. What was the quote you just told me before? Was that it?
Right.
Yeah. Something like that. I will have a link in the description as well for your page on Facebook. It's a page or it's a group. It's called the Survivalist Freedom Network.
Yes.
I'll have the link up for that in the description as well. So anybody who wants to get in contact with you can get in contact with you.
And I make personal appearances in your house if you want.
Well, I don't think anybody wants that. Look at you. You look like the fucking Unabomber. What are you doing?
He's my cousin.
No, he's not. Don't say that. All right. So is there anything else you want to say before we cut this off? I want to keep it quick.
Wake up, Pike County. The revolution is here.
All right. All right. There you go. Well, I think that's about it for now. Thank you very much for watching this very brief episode of the New World Order. And just remember, we're watching you too.
Someone is watching. There are strangers.